Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. It's time to join the conversation.
Welcome to episode 118. It's time to get started. Today, we're going to have a good word from Mr. Chet Sears. We're going to talk about sandwiches in each of our top 3 sandwiches. But to kick us off, Mr. Matt Amos, what you got on your mind, sir?
So a while back, we had a gentleman on this podcast that was talking about a documentary he was filming. And
Anthony
Marquez, trying to drum up support and just let everybody know that was coming up. And they are now in the final stages of filming, and they have a majority of post-production paid for. They're still short by about $100,000, but I don't think that that's going to be a problem. And if there's anybody out there who's interested in investing, reach out to me and I will connect you with them. But Anthony gave me a call last week and asked if I would come down and help with a specific segment that they were filming for this documentary. And I was like, sure. What do you need me to do? And he goes, well, we're going to assemble the uniform for this documentary. So for the folks out there who don't know, what our deployment to Afghanistan, we lost 17 guys. And for this part of the documentary, he has attained a piece of a uniform, a Marine dress blue uniform from each of the 17 guys. And so we pieced this entire uniform together, and this uniform is compiled of 17 different uniforms representing each of the 17 that were killed.
So like a hat from one or a cover?
So yeah, we got a cover from one, and then the buttons on the cover we got from another one.
Okay.
The dress gloves we got from another one, and the trousers and the jacket, and then various ribbons we got from various guys, and there's a EOD crab little thing that goes above the ribbons, and then putting on the French Fourragère for the 1-5 guys that were there. And so it's a pretty special uniform, and he's documented all of it. So where he got it from, who he got it from, how it was given to him, how everything was sourced, and and then with this documentary coming out, they're going to have the backstories of some of these guys. Yeah. And so
that's episode 48, by the way. So take a note, go back, listen to Anthony talk about what he's doing. He left after that episode, like that next week. He got on a RV and they drove
40 day, I think, or I can't remember how many days it was, but it was something like 14,000 miles that they drove.
Yeah. And the whole premise behind what he's doing is, there's been a lot done. And I'm not saying it's enough done, but a lot done for veterans, and wounded veterans that haven't been wounded. And your unit that Anthony was also in lost 17 folks, and Anthony was grieving, but then realized that the families, the Gold Star families of the people that were lost, are probably grieving more than he is. And so what could he do to help in their grief? And he started making battlefield crosses, chainsaw carvings. Yep. And then
delivering those to each of the family members. And then that's kind of how
he got connected with the families. And then this documentary kind of came as this is another way that we could show love and support for the families that lost these Marines.
Yeah, well, and make sure that the 17 names that are known, they're not just faceless guys that died serving their country. And it's pretty powerful when you think about it, not just from a healing perspective or seeing the families and what they've been through and how they're dealing with it, but it's also a good note looking forward. I mean, this is what you put people through when we go to war. And so, it's not real easy. It's easy for people to sit in their armchair and go, oh, we should go there and we should do this or we should do that. Well, there's real lives at stake. And I mean, is it worth it? What's our end game? What's the end goal for that? Which we didn't have in Iraq or Afghanistan. We never had like this is going to be the completion of this. It was just like, we're just going to do this forever.
Is that why it lasted for 20 years?
Yeah. So it's just like, there was no get in, get out, do what you need to do and go. But that, again, that's not what this film is about, and it's and we had some really good discussions about this because this film is strictly in the middle. It doesn't appeal to one side or the other, because we didn't feel that that'd be right, because there's guys that, paid the ultimate sacrifice that they don't have a political leaning. And so we don't want, or he didn't want this film to have a political leaning. So
it's not glorifying anything.
No, it's simply telling the stories
of the people
that gave their lives, and the story of Anthony and how he's maneuvering and how he's dealing with it. And it's pretty powerful. So they called me down to make sure to help Anthony with the uniform, to make sure that everything was correct, and placing, putting the ribbon bar together and placing each piece. And I mean, it was a pretty powerful moment to be a part of that, just putting it together, and then sitting down as they're filming, Anthony putting these pieces on the uniform and putting them together. And I've never done that before. They had a monitor set up, and I could see each of the shots, and for whatever reason, they asked for input. And so I was able to give input. Like, I think this would look better, and I think maybe light this a little bit more, so this shows more, because that's the important piece. And and just kind of directing them on that, and it was pretty cool because they were so open to any suggestions, and I was like, you can tell me to shut up, but this is what I think, because this is what I like to see. And then they have to correct me, and they go, we can't do that shot every time, or whatever. And then, so we got it all pieced together, and then, the next morning, so that was all one day. We had a planning meeting the first day to get everything, which, I mean, everything was down to like, here's what we're going to do. Here's the shots we need. Here's all 17 guys. And then as we put the piece together on the uniform, we would check off to make sure that it's there. And it's pretty heavy for me, actually. I mean, because there's a lot of memories on that uniform. And then, so being a part of that was special, but it's also special because this piece will be transported to Virginia and become an article or a display.
It'll
be a part of a museum.
It'll be part of the National Marine Museum in Virginia.
That's cool.
And so, matter of fact, just before we got this put together, he had gotten a letter from one of the curators at the museum. And so I'm quoting this curator that sent this, but it says, "I believe the symbology of their shared uniform will make this one of the most powerful uniforms in the collection of the National Museum. It really is a unique tribute." And I've been to the Marine Museum. You got a lot of uniforms in there from, important people, like whoever.
Chesty Puller.
You got some of his artifacts in there, but there's not one that has that is one solitary uniform that identifies 17 guys, and then the documentary to back it up, to tell their stories.
Yeah.
And so it was super cool. And then we went to a warehouse on the last day of filming, and then I'm sure, as you know, Troy, it wouldn't be a filming session if something didn't go wrong. And so we get there and there was no power, and I mean, this warehouse was built in like 1912 or something like that. Right. It was like an old steel factory or something like that, and just had a really cool look to set the uniform.
The older things typically are cooler and better and stronger.
Except the one in the middle here. And then, so we put it together and did the final filming and got all the shots that they needed, and then wrapped it up. But it was I can't wait, because so I've shown the sizzle reel to a few people, obviously trying to canvas for investors and stuff like that, just to get them over the finish line.
On all the editing work that needs to be done.
Yeah, post-production is basically where is all that's left. And then
it's usually what takes the longest.
Yeah. But so the sizzle that I've sent to people, not one has not been emotionally impacted by it. And I've received a lot of texts like dudes, they're like, I was crying, man, and he goes, I don't want to admit that, but I mean, it brought me to tears, and so it's an extremely powerful documentary, especially when you see what Anthony's been through as well, because I mean, it's difficult to face those families. You know, I mean, it's intimidating to walk up, you know, and what do you say, you know? And so, and then seeing the family's reaction and the reception to him is pretty special as well. And then there's so many side stories that this could go into. I mean, and so I don't think it'll end up being just a documentary. I think there will be a lot of going into stuff a little bit deeper. You know, the relationship between Anthony and his dad was mentioned today. They got news from the editing company. It's like, dude, there's a whole nother story here, you know, and then there's a whole nother story just in the carving. There's a whole nother story in just this, you know, and so. And I think that's great because ultimately it's making sure that America knows who they sent and who those guys were, so that they're never forgotten, which is the ultimate goal of this film. So that's where I've been for the past few days, and it's been extremely. I'm honored to be a part of it, but it's an extremely special project.
I could tell you too. Anthony's just such a. I mean, what a gentle person, and I, you know, of course, I didn't serve with him, and I'm pretty sure he's probably extremely violent as well when he needs to be. But you know, he is so genuine, and for somebody to sacrifice so much time, so much effort, some blood, sweat, and tears to draw attention to others, like, you know, he's just coming from such a I don't know, a trustworthy place. Like he wants to honor these people.
100%, you know, and I don't know that he's ever done anything for himself. And I know in the sizzle reel that I've shown people, it says, you know, when I first got out the first 4 years, I just did stuff for myself. You know, I was like, I don't remember that about you at all, you know? And so maybe that's just a personal reflection that's not really true, you know, but, you know, and so now I'm trying to, cause he got in touch with one of the Gold Star mothers, you know, and she had attempted suicide, you know? And so it's like, and then that's what really made him think, well, these families are going through things too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just me, it's not just my brothers that are going through stuff. These families are, you know, and, you know, one of the mothers, I guess, got the news while she was out trimming the hedge bushes, and she goes, you know, I just wish I could ram these. You know, I thought about just basically falling down on these shears and just having it be done. You know, and so, and that's what these families deal with that America doesn't get to see. You know, because it's that guy popped up on the news real quick. Oh, you know, it's too bad. You know, but there's families dealing with this for the last 10, 12 years, and you go back all the way to earlier wars, and those families still deal with that every day for forever, and so I don't know. And he sent me, and I will say this, he sent me the entire 4.5 hours of uncut footage where it was just kind of, here's what they're thinking. And it didn't have any interviews from any of the Marines, and it was still 4.5 hours long. It was just basically video of him doing a lot of the I don't know what you would call it, but because he's kind of the key that ties everybody together, and so they follow him as he's doing this. But
well, I had a chance to see the sizzle reel, and it got me. It's a couple minutes long. No, it's more than that.
Yeah, it's like
5 minutes,
4 or 5. Yeah.
The first, as I remember, the first scene was him driving an old Jeep. Before he just enlisted.
Yeah.
Right. And his brother's like, what about the war? I mean, they're going to send you out. And he's like, if that's where they want me, that's where I'll go. I'm just like, dude, how many young men said the same thing?
Yeah.
That got me. And then it just went from there.
Yeah. And like I was saying, he sent me the whole, like, unedited, and of course he's telling me, now this is untouched, the color hasn't been corrected and all this. And I was like, I get it. I'm not worried about that.
Not picking all this apart.
And so I'm watching it, and I've had this, I've had the file for probably 2 months now, and I still have an hour and a half left because there's parts that I'm just like, I've got to stop. I can't watch anymore right now, and so if it's that powerful, and I know that I've got a personal connection to a lot of these guys, and but some of the people that I've shown the sizzle reel to, they're like, I can't. I can't.
As the alley, you get to his dog. I mean, yeah.
And so, I think it's going to be incredible, and so just getting the word out about it. I think they're shooting for 2024. He may text me and correct me or whatever, and I'll correct myself. But
Well, we'll let everybody know when it releases, and
I'll have like we did in episode 48. I'll have a link to his website in the show notes of this episode. So.
Yeah. So make sure you're following that. If you don't, on Facebook, it's XVII Carvings, the feature film.
Mm-hmm.
And then just look that up, and you can follow the progress, and you can see the uniform that we completed and got the shots of that will be in the museum. And then I'll take off when that happens and they dedicate it at the museum. I'm going to go down to Virginia for that. So because that Marine Museum, if anybody hasn't been, is incredible. I mean, of course I was a Marine, so I'd go in there, and it's the history of my branch of service, but it's pretty awesome museum. Mm-hmm. They've really, really done a good job in there. So
right next to the Crayola factory?
Unfortunately, no.
No, I'm just curious.
No. I wish though. But anyway, that's what's been on my mind.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we're going to take a quick break and get back for our top 3. Are you driving traffic to your website? Do you have an engaging homepage? Better yet, does your homepage have a video? We recently created a video for a client about his business and the services they provide. Since he placed the video on the homepage of their website, he has had a number of clients specifically say they decided to use his services because of that video. At Trussell Media, we help businesses create engaging videos to host on their websites, email to clients, and use in their social media marketing. Contact us if you're interested in creating a video for your homepage today. TrussellMedia.com. Fill out the form at TrussellMedia.com/contact. Let us help you tell your story through video. Yeah, I just got my first view of the little teaser.
Man, I'll be honest with you. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, it's a good. That's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really good.
Yeah, very well from a production standpoint. Man, it shot well, composed well. The audio's clean. They hadn't even color corrected it from what you said, and it's it still looked good. It's just going to even polished and look better. But the content, good grief, yeah.
And it's so funny because I got to sit and watch this last part be filmed with the uniform, and it's so different what you see on camera to what you see on like a 4K monitor, and just the differences between the two when it's live filming and then when you see it on a 4K. It's just, I'm excited to see it because there's a lot of cool shots in there too.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
All right, yeah, top 3 sandwiches. Chet, why don't you start us off?
All right,
since we know you like sandwiches.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't like sandwiches?
I don't know.
I'm
probably not as big of a fan as you because this was your idea for a top 3.
I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Okay. All right.
We all have opinions on food.
I have very strong opinions on food.
Yep. Number 3, a traditional peanut butter and jelly sandwich on white bread, refrigerated and or in a cooler. Typically, I'd like it better in a cooler.
You like it cold or
yes.
cool?
But well, here's the deal. This takes me back. Like this was the meal that I would have as a kid when I went fishing with my dad. Like that was the PB&J, and it's hot in Louisiana in the summertime. And if we're gonna go catch some chinkapin or something like that, you gotta have the night crawlers on ice because 98
They'll
degrees
melt.
and 90%.
They start
humidity.
stinking pretty quick.
But so you just throw your sandwich in there, Ziploc bag, and man, you're pouring down sweat. You get, you grab that cold PB&J. Oh man, it's hard to beat that. Very hard to beat that.
Have you had one of those round ones that Smuckers came out with?
Uncrustables.
Yeah. Have you had one of those?
I have.
I love them. Frozen.
I haven't had a frozen one. I've had a cold one.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Frozen.
I had. Where was I? I don't think you guys were there. I was just somewhere. It wasn't that long ago. And I was like, man, I need something. They're like, oh, I got a PB&J. I'm like, you made sandwiches before? And like, no, dude, Uncrustables. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I'm about to change your life. And he pulled them right out of the freezer. And I was like, man,
I may have eaten it out of the freezer.
Legit.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
But the problem with those is you can polish off
10 of them.
all of them. Like, it doesn't matter how many there are there. You can eat them all.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. I had a hard time picking between which one I'd put number 1 and which one I'd put number 2. So number 2, fried shrimp po' boy. Has to be on fresh French bread. All the fixings, the works, the sauce, the lettuce, tomato, big one, 2-hander.
No, I didn't put any po' boys on my list here because it's not a sandwich.
It's a po' boy sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
It's a po' boy.
It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
All right, I got to change my list.
Well, I mean, what's the definition of a sandwich? Does it got bread?
I don't know. You just always call them a po' boy. They're po' boys. I wouldn't
like if you're classifying what food category it goes in. It's the sandwich category.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so
like
it's
a
sandwich.
Subway sandwich or a po' boy sandwich. I didn't put that. I thought about it.
Oh,
I was like, I wonder if because the shrimp po' boy is like one of my favorite things to eat, or crawtails po' boy. Like that's number 1 all day long.
right.
But I'm not going to put it on this list because it's not a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
Okay, well, that's my honorable mention. Honorable mention number 1, crawtails po' boy sandwich.
Hey, it's not your turn, man. Wait your turn.
Well, I'm going out of turn because it's not on my list.
Okay. Well, that means anybody could just talk about anything anytime they wanted.
It's chaos.
You got something not on your list you want to talk about right now?
This is not your top 3.
Yeah. Jeez.
I do. I want to say the gargantuan from Jimmy John's.
Okay. Number 1, the Monte Cristo.
I don't.
From
What is that?
have you ever?
You don't.
What was that? What was that restaurant in Shreveport?
Pickle Barrel.
No, it was a chain. They had one in Wichita.
Something.
O'Brien's or
O'Malley's.
no
O'Shaughnessy's.
No, Shamrocks.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
O'Banion. Banyan.
No. O'Reilly. No, that's Auto Part.
No.
Oh man.
It'll come.
I'll think of it.
You don't know what a Monte Cristo is? Mm-mm. All right, let me describe it to you.
It's got jelly in it too.
Oh, shh. It does not have it in it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it doesn't. You dip it.
Piece of bread.
Fry it.
Okay. You got a piece of bread. Then you have ham, deli ham.
Okay.
American cheese.
Okay.
Piece of bread. Swiss turkey. Piece of bread. Okay. You put all that together, and then you toothpick it so it doesn't come apart.
Right.
You dip it in an egg batter, and you deep fry it. And then you pull that golden brown, delicious sandwich with the melted gooey cheese on the inside, and you dust it with powdered sugar. Then you slice that joker.
You lost me at powdered sugar, but go ahead.
You slice it, and then you dip it in like a raspberry jelly.
I'm out.
It is fantastic.
I'm out.
Nope.
I was all in until you said
it's delicious.
Until you said powdered sugar,
dude,
and raspberry jelly.
I said the same thing.
No,
I saw it, and I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Sweet and meat.
And
for
then
me, just doesn't go
Then
together.
the person's like, dude, you need to taste it. And I did, and it was fantastic, life-changing. Fantastic.
All right, well.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Bennigan's.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't an O anything.
It
It
wasn't.
was just Bennigan's.
But it was very Irish.
Okay. But is this an Irish sandwich? I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's French, because the Count of Monte Cristo is who it was named after.
Yeah.
Is that French? I don't even know. Yeah. That's a good sandwich.
You just talked yourself into something. That was hilarious. Okay,
I'm
Matt,
telling you.
I want to hear Matt's now. Since
I've got an honorable mention that I need to come back to later.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, Arby's roast beef sandwich. It's one of my
Matt's are all going to be fast food. I don't know.
favorite. Stop. Give me that.
Do you do Arby's sauce or horsey sauce?
I don't do any sauce.
Dry.
That's good.
It could get tough dry though.
No.
That last half of that sandwich, you need some fluids.
No, that's why you got to Sprite, or you got to.
Man, you got to open that thing up, put some Arby's sauce on it.
Oh, you got to have Arby's sauce if you're eating a roast beef or anything.
My wife is all about the Arby's sauce. I've never have been. I just don't like it.
If I'm not going through and getting something for the drive, I go in and eat at Arby's because they got the peppers and all the pickles and
I haven't been inside an Arby's in 2 decades.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
They have like a
little mini buffet of condiments in there.
Yeah, and they just came back the end of last year because they had all that stuff closed up. But yeah, it's nice. Pickles and onions and jalapenos.
You put that stuff on a roast beef sandwich?
Oh yeah, dress it up, make it
really
nice. Yeah.
I've never put anything but Arby's sauce on mine.
Oh.
I don't even get cheese.
Oh, that's gross.
I don't like the cheese.
That fake cheese, I don't like it on anything.
Yeah, I don't like melted cheese like that.
All right, number 2. Take a guess.
PB&J.
No, I bet you know what it is though.
McDonald's
your
fish sandwich.
Spicy chicken deluxe.
Oh, from
Chick-fil-A.
That's my chicken sandwich. So now I've got roast beef and I've got chicken covered.
I do like the spicy deluxe. That's the one I get when I go to
It's my favorite.
cut the tomatoes.
Yeah.
And if you're cutting the tomatoes, you might as well not have the lettuce on there. And you might as well just get a spicy chicken.
I like the lettuce.
Then just don't get a deluxe.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You just get the spicy.
I like the lettuce and tomato.
You're crazy.
Well, the lettuce hasn't been that good lately.
Yeah.
I like the tomato.
It is the wintertime.
I wonder if I could get a spicy chicken plus tomato.
I wonder if I could just get a spicy.
And they give it to you in a wrapper instead of the box.
Yeah, probably not. They probably wouldn't.
I dare you.
You dare me to try it? I'm going to try.
Can I just get a spicy chicken with a piece of lettuce on there?
Slice of tomato on it?
I don't like the tomato. I like the lettuce.
Yeah. Extra lettuce.
Extra lettuce. And then number 1, and it could go either way. I'm torn. But I do like a club sandwich.
So on toast?
On toast.
Okay.
White bread. Or sourdough. I don't mind it on sourdough either.
A club, like with the 4, they always serve it on a square plate, cut in 4.
I don't like it cut in 4. It doesn't hold together because there's so much there. You're always trying to pick it up with a fork off of the plate. I don't like that. I'd rather they just cut it into 2 triangles and let me eat it that way and have the little toothpick in each side.
All sandwiches, if you're going to cut, that's how you should cut it.
Diagonal. Yeah.
And it doesn't need 2 diagonals. Just cut it diagonal. That's it.
That's how McAllister's does it. We go there a lot because it's 99 cents for kids.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for a turkey cheese.
I've
with
spent
a
a while
side
since
of
I've
mac
been
and
at McAllister's.
cheese. 99 cents.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the club with the turkey, ham, bacon, and then on a club, I don't mind a tomato because it's a cold sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, whereas when you get and that's why I really don't like the tomato on the
It's too hot.
Spicy.
it's because it
Too
makes
hot.
it mushy a little bit.
I'm like that with lettuce too. If it's cold, man, I'm a fan. But if it gets hot, I don't.
Yeah, wilted a little bit.
Well, I just don't want hot lettuce or hot tomatoes.
Yeah, I get that. But the pickles and all that kind of stuff, on the dill pickle slices on the side, and
You know what would make that club sandwich even better?
if you say raspberry jam,
You dip
or
that
jelly,
thing in some egg batter and fry it.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Well, I wouldn't mind trying it fried. I've never had it fried, but
So don't put the powdered sugar on
I
it.
would not add the powdered sugar, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't dip it in
Yeah,
jelly.
that'd be just fine. Yeah,
But I'd be interested to try it because it does sound good.
It's really good.
Anyway, that's my top 3.
Excellent. My number 3 is a grilled cheese with onions and a side of tomato soup
I do like a good grilled cheese
yeah.
sandwich.
to dip it in.
You can't throw in that tomato soup business
Why not?
because
Well, because this is sandwiches, but
I'm dipping it in just like your raspberry jam.
No, that's part of the Monte Cristo. It's like if you get a recipe for a Monte Cristo, it's like you have to have this jam. If you get a recipe for grilled cheese, it doesn't say you have to have this tomato soup.
It does when I order it.
I'll tell you, that meal, tomato soup and grilled cheese, Sunday night. I don't know. We probably had that.
It's a good Sunday
once
night
a
meal.
month on Sunday night. Come home. We used to have church on Sunday nights when I was growing up. Come home from church, and Mom would put that tomato soup on. Oh man, we're gonna eat good. I love that. Good combination.
So good.
That's,
So good.
When we get to Hoodoo, Alaska, when we fly in, typically we get there just before lunch, and so while the other flights are coming in, we go in and sit at the table, and then she brings out grilled cheese with tomato bisque.
Oh yeah.
And then same. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Did you say onion?
Yeah, I like putting onion in my grilled cheese.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually. That
Like
actually
raw,
sounds pretty good.
or you
No, like
grilled
sauteed
onions?
onions.
Sauteed onions?
Grilled or sauteed onions.
Yeah.
And what kind of cheese are you using when you do the onions?
Usually whatever we have, but I like Colby Jack or
So it's not American slices.
no.
Okay.
Like in the plastic? Nah, I don't even classify that as cheese.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking because onions wouldn't go good with that. But real cheese, that I could definitely see that going with.
Yeah.
Man,
We usually have-
buttered bread on that.
Oh yeah.
Buttered bread on that? That's grilled cheese. That's how you grill it.
I know, but I'm
Butter.
just,
Yeah, you have to butter it.
but like, yeah,
yeah.
dude, like Texas toast. If you did on Texas toast,
Ooh, that'd be good. too,
Yes.
yeah.
Texas toast is good. I don't know what makes Texas toast taste so much better. I mean, it's just thicker pieces of white bread, but for some reason,
like
It's
how do
good.
we
It just
make
tastes
white
better.
bread better? Give you more of it.
make it thicker.
Nice.
It holds more butter.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, man, we should have eaten before we recorded this episode. I'm starving.
I
to
mean,
death
I
right
offered,
now.
but nobody wanted to pay $60 for 2 pieces.
Right. Still recovering. I'm financially recovering from the
Oh,
last
man.
time.
All right, number 2, French dip.
That's a good one.
It's got to have au jus.
Yeah, you got to have now that
Comes with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask for
Yeah,
that.
I agree with that.
Comes
Where
with
do you get that though? Like where?
Arby's has a French dip. Oh, it's good.
I've had it at Arby's. It's all right. They have them at the Monarch here in town.
Yeah,
Has a really
yeah.
good one.
Theirs is pretty good.
Um,
The Anchor.
Did you ever get that from like the Tech Grill back in the day?
I'm sure I did.
They had a really good one there.
I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I did. I love that sandwich. Back in Shreveport, it was the Blind Tiger.
Ooh.
I got one at the Blind Tiger probably once a week.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Anchor? Is
Yeah,
Is it even still open?
Yeah.
The Anchor, I don't know if I've ever had one of those there because I always get my number one on my list is the Reuben. Their Reuben at the Anchor
at the Anchor?
is fantastic.
I haven't had the Reuben there. I forget what sandwich I get there, but it is incredible. They do a really good job.
They
on their
do a
food.
really good job on all their food, but the Reuben,
Matter of fact, I stopped eating it because it was a spicy sandwich. I need to go back now that I can eat spicy again. I got to go back to the Anchor and figure that sandwich out.
The Reuben?
No. They have a sandwich there, and I can't remember what it is, but it's spicy, and that's why I quit going. Is because my stomach was bothering me when I was eating spicy food.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back now.
well, call me when you go. I'll meet you
I will.
down
Let's
there.
do that. Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
for lunch.
The I'm not. I don't. Reuben has sauerkraut on it, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
sauerkraut.
I can't. I've never eaten a Reuben.
You don't like sauerkraut?
I don't like the bread.
The rye?
I don't like rye bread on
And
it.
it's got
Marbled-
like
marbled
corned
rye,
beef on it too,
corned
right?
beef
I'm not a
hash.
big fan of corned beef, so it's like
man,
it's like
so
strike
good.
3. Like you're out.
I love it, man. It's
Now,
my
you gotta-
favorite.
Like, have you ever had like good corned beef?
No.
Because I was the same way. I hated corned beef
Yeah.
my whole life, and then
But here's the thing: you put it near some sauerkraut, and I'm not going.
no, I don't like.
Like,
I'm not a big fan of sauerkraut. I don't like it either.
Yeah, if you open up a can of sauerkraut,
Oh no, you don't.
in the
no,
same room
no,
as
no.
corned
You
beef,
don't
I'm
do
not eating it.
canned sauerkraut. That is the absolute worst thing on the planet. Like I gag when,
It's the
when
same.
that opens up.
Same. Any sauerkraut.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
To me, it's all bad.
I said the same thing. Trust me, I said the same thing.
On sauerkraut?
Yes.
I'm saying it, and I'm not. Look,
I don't know if
there's
this
certain
classifies.
things in life that I do not want to even bring in. It's like that could stay out of my life forever.
Trust me, I said the same thing because they brought these kielbases when we were in Colorado, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have kielbases and sauerkraut tonight." And I was like, "I guess I'm gonna be hungry."
Yeah, I'll see you guys later.
And
I'm out.
So there's
a Tenacious D song about
they
kielbasa
opened up.
sausage.
They brought this sauerkraut, and I was like, "Well, that doesn't look like any sauerkraut that I've ever seen before." But it was cabbage in like a vinegar, which is basically what sauerkraut is. But
you know what I don't like? Vinegar.
But it was, you don't, oh, well, if you don't like vinegar.
I hate vinegar.
Okay.
That's why I don't like hot sauce.
I thought it was just like the fermented
That too.
taste
Not
of
a
it
big fan of that.
So, but they brought this stuff out, and I was like, oh, this just tastes like a
Cabbage.
with vinegar on
Yeah.
it. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. I don't mind that at all.
Was it kimchi?
No, it was
kimchi's
not,
fermented.
No, kimchi's fermented.
Yeah, that stuff. I can't handle kimchi.
Yeah.
And I like vinegar, and
Yeah.
kimchi is just way too much for me.
I'm just no room for it in my life. There's other things.
I'll give you that because like I said, I was the same way. And if you don't like vinegar, you're just not going to like this. And I was like, well, I can actually taste the vinegar in this, not like this rotting crap in my mouth. But we actually had some corned beef that was prepared by a chef, and that was good.
I've seen
Because it's basically like roast beef. I mean,
a thing from All Things Barbecue on how to make it on your smoker.
that's what. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Well,
It's not like that corned beef that you're just like.
I had a roommate my sophomore year who left an impact on my life. And one of the things he would do, and you knew it when you got off the elevator on the 10th floor of the Nielsen dorm, he would cook corned beef hash on a hot plate in the dorm room.
You brought this up
So-
before. That's why you don't. That's why you don't like it, right?
Yeah, well.
So what was he putting in the corned beef hash?
Nothing.
Just
He'd open up the can
of what?
Hormel
Oh
corned beef hash,
no!
and then dump it.
The can is where you're going wrong.
And then dump it in a pot on a hot plate, and then turn it up. And I'm telling you, like elevator doors, bing, and you're like, oh gosh. And then the whole rest of the day, all you hear when people get off the elevator is like, oh, what is that? You know, like that's my roommate eating corned beef hash. I have no room for that in my life. I don't need it.
Yeah, I guess I can get that. I mean, I did the same thing to my roommate with salmon patties. So
Yeah. But
Whatever.
I'm with you. If somebody like smoked their own brisket, they did the brine and all that kind of stuff, I'd
Yeah.
go. I'd
I
sample
think
that.
you would.
But don't you put it in near any sauerkraut?
No. I understand that. What I'll have to do is I'll have to get one of these shipped because they bring them down to Kentucky every year. They bring them from Michigan. And I guess there's this place that's super famous for their corned beef. And so they'll bring it down. And I wasn't a believer until I had this. And I was like, holy cow, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I'd make breakfast for everybody. So I'd crack some eggs in there and then fry up some potatoes and then throw the corned beef in there. And that was how I did corned beef hash. And it was really good, especially with some hot sauce on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So you have to try that. Don't give up on corned beef, but I get it if you just don't like vinegar. You don't have to give sauerkraut a try.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you a go on that.
Good stuff. Chet, you got a good word for us?
Yeah. Matt, you're big on telescopes and looking into the night sky.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we used to have one.
The night sky?
We
Yeah.
weren't talking about you. We were
A
talking
telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have one, but Matt's gone further than you and I have
Well, yeah.
on.
He doesn't live in the city, so he can probably see more.
He's a country
Because
boy.
he's a country boy.
There's no light pollution where you are.
There's a little bit.
The how far can you see?
I don't know. Long way.
Really long way.
I mean, the sun is 93 million miles, and we see that every day.
And then so yeah. Then you look at you're really proud of that one.
Yeah, I almost lost my water on that one.
So you're thinking about, let's go back in biblical times, Old Testament times.
Okay.
the technology that existed to see the heavens, the outer space at night, was probably pretty good, better than we would from a light perspective, right? No light pollution.
No light pollution.
Have you ever just gazed up, no light pollution, and seen, you get millions of stars up there? I've had the opportunity, I know you have, looking at the night sky with night vision goggles. And then you realize that you, with the naked eye, can only see a fraction of what's actually available out there. You look at telescopes. They had the Hubble, and then they got this new one. I forgot the name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's out there going deeper, further into space and sending images back. Our understanding of how vast space is now is so much. It's exponentially more than what we ever had an understanding of how far space was then, back in the Old Testament times. What am I doing with all this? Isaiah 55, 8 and 9. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." So if you think about when this was spoken, their knowledge of how far the heavens are was extremely limited to what we now know how far the heavens go. And we haven't found the end of it. And we've invested a lot of money, a lot of technology into finding it. And the Bible says, as far as that is, as far away, infinity is what we assume, is that God's thoughts and his ways are that much higher than our thoughts and ways. So to think, if you're going to reason or rationalize or be smarter than what the creator of this universe, you are a blooming idiot. I'm a blooming idiot. I've thought that, I've like, I know better. I could do this. I could do this on my own. I'll be independent and not depend on God. And you're thinking, I know better in this situation. I know that I don't need to do that because there's a good reason that I don't need to go talk to that person, or there's a good reason I don't need to ask for forgiveness. There's a good reason, And then you read a passage of scripture like this that actually has a measurement of his ways and his thoughts are so much higher than ours. How high? As far as the heavens are from the earth. How far is that? We don't know because we still hadn't found the end of it yet. Like we have all this stuff out there and we hadn't even found it yet. That's how much more knowledgeable, thoughtful our God is in comparison to our peon brains, which I think is fascinating. Because
yes,
every year, every day that goes by, this scripture grows. Like when it was spoken, it's like, yeah, you see that vast array of space, the heavens out there? Yeah, God is that much higher. His ways and his thoughts are that much higher than ours. And to them, that was just
there.
Out there.
Yeah.
And now it's like we've got telescopes millions of miles away looking light years away. And his knowledge is still further than that. His ways are still further than that than our ways, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yep.
I've been chewing on that one for a little while.
That's good. I still don't know how we get pictures back from those telescopes.
They're digital.
Launching outer space.
Do you know how they used to get pictures back from the first spy satellites before digital?
No.
This is fascinating.
I think you've told us before.
The film canisters
they
would eject, and then they'd have a parachute that would deploy, and then they had these airplanes with this fork on the front, these scissors.
Right, yeah.
And they'd fly in and hit the cord between the parachute and the film canister, and then they'd reel it in and go develop the film.
It's crazy.
That's why they got the U-2 spy plane and then the SR-71, because they didn't have to do that anymore. They didn't want to do that anymore. Anyway.
Very cool.
So it reminded me of, so it's the Webb telescope.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it sent back an image, and it's that image there. You guys have probably seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But that image, from what it says, is basically the equivalent. Let me find it here. The area depicted in that image is equivalent in size to a grain of sand held at arm's length by someone standing on the surface of the earth. This small patch of universe alone contains thousands of galaxies of incredible variety. And I mean, that's the size of that.
A grain of sand at arm's length.
And then there's over 10,000 galaxies, not just planets or stars.
Or
I mean, this is
moons,
galaxies. Like we're in the Milky Way galaxy, and we're like,
yeah.
I mean, we're so small in this galaxy, and to think that there's 10,000 of those in that picture just shows the expanse. And I mean, it's like, okay, and one little speck of dust created all that. Come on, man.
But as far away as that is,
and that's just what we can. That's not even as far out there. I mean, it's so much farther.
Yeah.
Beyond
that's
that.
how much more knowledgeable.
Right. It's crazy, right?
It can't even comprehend
unfathomable. Yeah.
But the more we investigate, the more this verse is still true. That's how much more God is in us. Anyway.
In it, around it,
good
throughout
thoughts.
it.
Good thoughts.
That's my my good word.
Perfect.
All right. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.